Check, check. What is going on, guys? Welcome to another live stream. Looks like I'm having some troubles connecting to the server. I don't know if it's because of what's going on over at the YouTube headquarters over there. So I just want to kind of still bring up a chat. Still bring up a live stream, but I'm not going to be using any of my fancy gear and stuff, whatnots. No OBS, no software. Just going to go straight. But the good thing is that we're able to go straight from YouTube now with just a camera and a mic, so that's definitely going to be helpful. But fortunately, I'm not going to have any like bottom third runners or fancy chat boxes and whatnot. So I do apologize about that. Um, but just want to let you know here that we are going to be going live here. Tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about 3 tips to improve your shrinking for your back windows, and then we're going to also be talking about doing some Q&A as well. It looks like we're getting some people into the chat and going from here. Go ahead and close that door here for you. Just give me one moment here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and take a second to go ahead and share this because I had it set over to get it sent out on a different. I had it prepared ready on a different like event on YouTube, so like no one from Facebook knows. So let me go ahead and put it up, Facebook and YouTube. Give me 30 seconds. For y'all that are watching, take a moment to go ahead and share the live stream. We'll go ahead and get started in just a moment. Can y'all hear me just fine? Can y'all see me just fine? Let me know in the comments below if you can. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go here. Got that set up here for you. Hope everyone's doing well. Can y'all hear me? Yes. Let me know in the chat, please. Let me know in the chat. All right, I'm going to write it out for y'all so y'all can hear me. All right. That's how you mute it. See if I can go loud. I can go loud, really loud. I guess that's not a meter. Okay. Thought that was like a meter. I've never really actually done this option here where you can just go on YouTube and just go straight live from your camera. So I'm still learning it up. Yeah, J-Wise, what's going on? Yeah, I think that's what's going on. YouTube headquarters got shot. I mean, there was an active shooter over in San Jose, I believe it is. One of their technical servers is locked down. See, so they're working on the server. So that would make sense as to why I can't use it. Thanks, JY. Appreciate it. Looks like that's the reason why I can't use OBS or any of my other software. But it looks like I can upload natively. So we're going to go ahead and continue on with the live stream here. Like I said, I hope you guys can hear me. You guys can see me. Give me a thumbs up if you can. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk and start the live stream here. We're tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about 3 tips to improve your shrinking and improve your back shrinking. So that's what we're going to be focusing on, shrinking mainly on the back window. It's going to be very similar to the side windows, but it's going to be, the side windows are a lot easier. Once you get the back window down, solid. The side windows are going to be super easy. So get comfortable here. All right. So tip number 1, we're going to be talking about prep and how to properly prepare yourself to be able to go ahead and start shrinking a back window. What you really want to do, number 1, within the prep process, is you want to give that back window a good wipe down. You really don't know where the car and the conditions are. I know that if a car is sitting up front of the shop for a while, it takes it's dirt and dust particles starts to go, because we have like a dirt road like right near our shop. So I know dirt and dust starts to land. So I always try to give it a good scrub down. I'll at least wet it down and go from there. But if I can feel that it's like really dirty and really gritty, then at that point I'll go ahead and use a scrub pad if need be, but that's why I mean the very most, and that's on the outside what I'm talking about. And then afterwards, once that's all clean and dried off and whatnot, I'll go and use a moisten up a dryer sheet and start using a dryer sheet method. Um, One of the easiest ways to be able to go ahead and shrink a back window, in my opinion, is gonna be dry shrinking. If you try to wet shrink a back window and you're like new to shrinking, you're new to window tinting and other things, you're just gonna have issues. You're gonna have problems from the jump because it takes a little bit more knowledge, takes a little bit more skill to wet shrink. And it's something that this takes time, and plus it's not an even shrink. You're aggressively shrinking certain parts of the film and leaving other parts alone. So it's, in my opinion, it's definitely harder to wet shrink versus dry shrinking, and it's not even. So we're going to focus on dry shrinking. So go ahead and get a dryer sheet out and smear it all over the back window. And you can also do a bars of soap. Really work really well. Just get it a little bit wet and lather it up, and then just go ahead and start rubbing it all over the back windshield. And that as well will be essentially the same thing as dryer sheets. I'm gonna actually start to take a look at that and see down that avenue, because I hear health wise, I hear it's a lot better than using dryer sheets. I hear, everyone says that like dryer sheets will cause cancer and blah, blah, blah. So I kind of try to want to be as healthy as I can. So I'm going to try that. So one of the two, either the dryer sheet method or the soap method, anything to get get that static, so the static off the glass, so that film just floats essentially on it. Because if it's starting to stick, then that's where you're going to have issues shrinking, because the film needs to be able to move. It needs to be able to lay down when you want it to, but move when you need it to. So that's going to be step one on the 3 tips to improving your shrinking again. And for those of you just joining, thank you very much for joining us. This is our Tuesday night live stream. We moved it over from Facebook over to YouTube. So we're going to be doing this every week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays. So make sure to check us out, and I'll go ahead and put links at the channel as well. You can go ahead and check us out at Window Tinting Business, the group over at Facebook as well. I do post up regularly there as well. So go ahead and check us out there. But moving on to tip number 3 here is tip number 3 is your heat and your distance. So obviously, after you're going to go ahead and put the dryer sheet or the soap down, you'll obviously cut your pattern or get your film out and then lay it down, hit it down with the H pattern, a line across the middle and down the 2 sides. That's easy. If you guys don't know how to shrink a back window, go ahead and check out one of my videos shrinking a back window, and that'll help you out in regards to watching the whole process. But tip number 2 is your heat and your distance. So it depends on what you're using, whether you're using a Wagner heat gun, a Porterhouse, is it Porterhouse heat gun, whether you're using a blowtorch. It doesn't really matter what you're using, but you want to know where the heat is and where the sweet spot is. I know, like, my Wagner heat gun goes up to 1100 degrees. I know heat guns that can go up to 1600 degrees. So heat's good, but air pushing and how much air is getting pushed out of that gun is also important as well, because you want some good airflow. So there's a sweet spot where the distance in regards to where the heat gun is versus where the film is too far, and it's just, you're not going to be shrinking the film or getting the film hot enough. Too close, and you're going to be burning the film. So you want to find that sweet spot, so you're not over shrinking, but you're not touching the film with the heat. So that is going to be tip number 2. It's going to be is finding that sweet spot, but taking your time. You go slow at first, no matter what you're doing, whether you're trying out a new heat gun, a new heat style. Maybe you're going from a heat gun to a blowtorch. Maybe you're brand new. Maybe you're using a different type of film and you're trying to get used to the shrink style of that particular film. You want to go slow at first. Take your time. If it's getting too hot, pull the heat back. Go a little bit at a time, 2-3 inches at a time, and then do bigger chunks and bigger chunks. And then before you know it, you're going to be shrinking back windows in a few minutes flat. But it all comes with time and repetition. So that is going to be tip number 2. Tip number 3 is going to be what kind of hard card you're using. So you have one hand, you have the heat gun, the blowtorch, whatever your heating element or heating device, and then the other hand, you're gonna have something that you're gonna be laying down the film. I see a lot of people and a lot of novice people get really when they start with just a regular hard card. Mm, and that's okay, but it's very easy to crimp film or crease film and crease it to the point where you can't go. If you have a little crease, a light crease, and barely fold it, but you can, if you get air back into that area and reheat it, most of the time a light crease can lay back down flat, and it's not a problem. It's the hard creases that you cannot get out, and that's easily done with a hard card. And let's just say, for example, I think I have a hard card. Give me 30 seconds. Not even 30 seconds. Hold on. Oh yeah. Okay, so this isn't a hard card, but we'll figure it out here. This is what is this? Tri-edge. It's a tri-edge. Okay, so let's just pretend that this is a hard card. Okay, pretend it's a full one. By the way, this is a tri-edge by tri-edge. By tri-edge, this one is the yeah, this one's a tri-edge. There are all kinds of different types. There's sizes. This squeegee tri-edge is phenomenal. And if you guys haven't seen my tri-edge video about the smooth it's one of my most recent videos. Go ahead and check it out. It is an awesome tool. But let's say you're using a hard card and you're shrinking a back window, what you don't want to do, especially with a hard card, you don't want to be pushing. You want to try to pull first. So as you shrink, let's say you're shrinking the bottom section of the film, you're going to go ahead and get your heat on the film, and then when you lay down, you want to bring your card down here and pulling it down. You don't want to try to push it. I don't even push it until the very end, the very last like inch of the film of the shrink of the film. But the top end, I'll pull. You're going to get a less likely chance of creasing the film if you're pulling versus if you're pushing that film shut. Okay. That's rule number one. Number two, in regards to the what hard card you're using, is try other things. I wouldn't try a hard card first. And even if you're doing the hard card, really soft. I mean, really soft hard card. It kind of sounds like an oxymoron, soft hard card, but the softest card available, that way it conforms easily to the film and to the glass because the back glass does curve. But also try a Mac tack. A Mac tack is very soft, especially if you're using the pull method. The Mac tack is very soft and very easy on the film. And you can try pulling it first, and then when you're done, you're ready, you can push at the final end. And oops, looks like I hit my thing here. And lastly is if anything, if at all it's not working at all and you have nothing to do and you can't do anything to fix it, then what you want to do is what I do is I'll take a shop rag. So I'll take a shop rag and I'll fold it in half, fold it in half, fold it in half. So it's basically the size of my palm. But I don't like do a tight fold. I do a nice loose fold. So then try getting a rag in your hand, and as you're shrinking, try to bring the rag down instead of a hard card. You're not going to get it fully down, but it's gonna be so soft on the film when you're laying it down that, I mean, it's very unlikely that you're gonna crease this film. So if that's the case and you are that green in regards to shrinking, try getting that rag where it's folded down 3 or 4 or 5 times. So if you have a standard shop rag, yeah, if you have a standard shop rag and you fold it down just enough, so like 3 or 4 or 5 times, so it just fits the palm of your hand, that's when you want to be, that's where it is and where you want to be using it. So that let's see here. Yeah, that's where I get distracted very easy. Sorry, guys, on my other screen here. So that's how you want to be using that shrink. And if you use that method, you're gonna avoid any type of creases. And then if you are using the rag, just go from a soft to a harder. So from there, if you have a Mac tack, then use a Mac tack to lay down. Use the pull method to lay down the rest of the film. And if you have a hard card, just use the hard card after using the rag. But if you did that, those are going to be the 3 steps and tips that I can give you that's definitely going to help your shrinking abilities in regards to back windows. So hopefully that helps everyone. Let's see what we got here. How does this work? Oh, there we go. All right, looks like we got about 15 people in here. 10 people in here. Yeah, and again, I do apologize. I'm glad the guys that are here, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Just because this is not the way it was planned, but things you got to roll with it, unfortunately. So Hopefully everyone's okay over at the YouTube headquarters. That is a horrible, horrible thing. But yeah, I guess I'll just open it up for some Q&A. Looks like we ran about 15 minutes for the topic here. So that's all done. If you guys are just joining in or just missed it, we just did our Tuesday night live stream where we were talking about how to 3 tips to improve your shrinking abilities. Now we're going to go ahead and go into the Q&A section. I'll stay on for a little bit as long as people are asking questions, but once it starts to die down, then I'll go from there. All right, here we go. Let's see. Looks like we got some people coming in here. Oh, and I do kind of like this because I can read it now, and I'm kind of looking near the camera, so it kind of looks like I'm looking at you guys. Uh, JWise asks, why do some cars shrink better using the H pattern versus others using only the horizontal line across the middle? Reason for that is because you shrink better using the H pattern versus only using the horizontal line across the middle. So if you use only the horizontal line, so the way film works, and you guys should know this, but if you guys don't know this, let me know. I think I lost it there. No, I didn't. Okay, so the way film works is the film only shrinks in one direction, up and down. So if you roll it out of the box, this is kind of hard because I'm not trying to hit the mic or whatever. But if you roll it out of the box, up and down, the end of the film here and here, um, is where the direction in regards to where it needs to shrink. So if you just lay a horizontal line, then you could be shrinking the sides not in the direction that it needs to go, if that makes sense. So when you lay the middle down and you lay the sides, you're tacking down the sides so they don't move. So the middle can be conformed to shrink up and down. But if you just do the middle and you let the sides loose, when you're putting heat on there, the film could be shrinking from left to right versus up and down, which is gonna make the film bind on you versus shrinking in the proper way. So hopefully that helped with that. Hmm. Myers Auto Detailing Customs, your suggestions on cotton gloves for heat shrinking works great also. Yes, yeah, you are correct. I suggest a heat gun as well if you're having trouble. If you're like really good, if and I'd probably say if you've been tinting for a year or less, use a heat gun, use a MagTech, try the rag method. That's gonna help the best to not shrink or not ruin film, increase film, and run through film. But also a glove helps because your heat gun, especially like my heat gun runs at 1200 degrees or 1100 degrees. That is high enough to burn, high enough to stick. So if that film's that hot, I don't want to be touching it with my fingers and burning my fingers. So yeah, using a glove will definitely help. And also laying it down with your hand, you can kind of feel where you need to shrink a little bit more, and you can control the pressure a little bit better than the hard cards. So yeah, thanks for that tip. Appreciate it. Mm. No way, Jose won. Do you typically shrink a visor strip? It really depends. Typically, if it's like especially if it's a two piece and less and smaller than 6 inches, most likely not. Even if it's a one piece and less than 2 inch or less than 6 inches wide, mostly not, you don't shrink it. Now, if they're wanting a 10-inch strip, a 12-inch strip, then at that point you're covering more of the windshield, and the windshield does curve. At that point, you're most likely going to have to shrink. But typically, no, you don't have to shrink a visor strip. And it's about how you lay down. You don't have to have the line straight, and you shrink the film, stretch it out, stretch the film across it, across the glass, and you'll see itself if it lays down or not. But typically, no, you don't need to shrink a visor strip. I do, and I did show people in my how to install a sun strip video. But that was just an additional step, especially for the greenhorns that are just first getting into it. Just like shrinking side windows and installing a door on the side, or door windows. um, I very rarely shrink side windows, but I show people how to do it. You show people how to do it the right way first, so they have the fundamentals down, and then from there you move on to like where you can and can't, where what steps you can kind of cut out, and make your process a little bit faster. So yeah. Jeff, what's up? What's up? Welcome to the live stream over here on YouTube. Yeah, Jeff's always I called him G off before. But Jeff's over at the community over at Facebook. Like I said, I was doing these live streams for a while, good while over on Facebook for almost 2 months, and then I switched it over back over to YouTube. This is like my home base. This is where the majority. Opa, my alarm's going off. I gotta remember to turn that off. I gotta take my trash out. But anyways, yeah, YouTube is my home base, so I typically I want to bring stuff back this way. A lot more of my subscribers are on here. We got about we're about to break 5,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. We're doing good on the Facebook group too. We got about 2,500 members within the community. So if you guys aren't part of that community, go ahead and join up. Like I said, window tinting business, the Facebook group, check it out, and yeah, it's a good vibe over there. All right, we got some more questions popping in. Uh, Mitchell. Oh, I lost it. Where'd it go? Mitchell Stockman. Very good info for a beginner like me. Thank you for doing these videos. Yeah, no, you're welcome, man. I'm telling you, it's I have a real passion for this stuff, and that's why I do these videos and these live streams because one of my goals is to just really improve the industry and build it up and make it a better quality of people within the industry. So if you're gonna stay, make sure to keep it high and tight, my friend. High and tight. Myers Auto Detailing and Customs. Do you have any tips for extremely curved back windows such as a VW Beetle? Okay, so the infamous VW Beetle, or something like the an older Corvette with the glass that curves on the sides. Those are like infamous for being difficult. Um, One of the first times I did a Beetle, I was like, okay, I was super nervous. And I couldn't do the pull method on the bottom because it was a turbo. So the turbo Beetle has a wing on the back end on the bottom of the glass. So I couldn't pull on the bottom. So the pull method really helps. If you've never done that, you lay down your H pattern and you pull the film as you're shrinking in the direction. So you kind of help manipulate the film into that direction. But I tried an H pattern. You want to try maybe moving your H pattern up, like in windshields. Like back glass, typically H pattern's right in the middle, 50%, right in the middle. But for like front windshields, I typically bring my H pattern up just slightly, just because you get a lot more shrinking in the bottom or the top corners that will start to bind on you. So that's why I bring my H pattern up a little bit on front windshields. Um, but just take your time. The really hard ones like the '07, '08 GTI from VW from Volkswagen, is also a very difficult back window. So if at all you can't succeed, try to wet shrink it, try to dry shrink it, try to use soft cards, try to hand cut. If you're using a plotter, try using just raw material on there, and see if that works. And if it all fails, I mean, I've been doing this for years, and I've run across two cars that I could not tint, and unfortunately, if that happens, it's better to just bite the bullet and say, unfortunately, I can't tint this car. And that's kind of it. It's embarrassing and it's not something you want to do, but if it happens very rarely, you'd rather say that than let people go with a crap installation. I mean, bottom line, because that's your reputation. It's better to say no, I can't do it. I'd rather not do it. And if you really know that you can't do it, like a VW Beetle that's extremely difficult, and you've done it before, and you're like, I never want to do this again, or I did it and it's the worst pain in the world. I never want to do it again. The next time a Beetle comes in or tries to schedule for an appointment, just say you'll charge them $900 because that's how much it's going to cost for me to do it. If they say yes, then you're in the money, and if they say no, which they most likely will, then you won't have to do the car. So you're not technically telling them no, but you're pricing it out at such a ridiculous rate that they're not going to say yes. Wow, a lot of questions coming in. All right, let's moving on here. You have Rick McIntyre here. I have a trash alarm. I do have a trash alarm. My trash goes out. I just have to put it outside, and then a service comes up and picks it up, so I don't have to take it out and take it away. So yeah, I have to put it out in a little bit. Rick, welcome. Another Facebook community member. Let's see. Jeff said he couldn't figure out how to make comments last week. There's a little section that says comments, Jeff. That's all you have to do. It says say something. It literally says say something. So, Jeff, I'm really glad you got on board and you were able to go ahead and do so. And I do apologize, guys. Normally, this is not a green screen. Normally, it's like this like wood background and it's a lot nicer, and then I have the chats popped up this way. But for those of you guys that are just joining us, unfortunately there was some sort of event that happened over at YouTube headquarters, which is messing with everything. So I'm even actually kind of surprised I can do this now here. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. Lift and pull. Jake Graham. That's right, baby. Lift and pull. The pull method's a really, really solid option here. Carlos Palominos, what's the best ceramic window film and how much shrinking is needed for a rear window on a 17 Silverado? Okay. The best ceramic window tint film is very subjective. It depends on what the best is a very relative term. Best to me might not be best to you. Best to me might be okay for you. So in regards to any ceramic, whether it's dyed film, whether it's a hybrid, whether it's a metallized, whether it's ceramic, nano ceramic, whatever, blackout, whatever they come up with, it has to be in a good price point. You know, you can't, if you can only charge X amount, and if there's no profit margin in it for you, because you have to survive. I mean, even though you have passion and love for this industry and the craft, it has to be a good price point. You have to be able to sell it. Obviously, you have to be able to work with it. It could be the world's best film, but maybe I'm just not the world's best tinter, or vice versa. It's the world's horrible film. I'm the greatest tinter, but I can't still work with it. If you can't install, shrink, and install it cleanly, then there's no point in using it. I don't care if it's ceramic or not. So just something that's a good price point that you can work with. That's pretty much it. And that you can sell. That's another important part. Something you can sell as well. And to answer your second question, rear window on a 17 Silverado, I don't shrink them at all. So trucks, I don't shrink just because they're pretty flat. If you stretch it out and lay it out pretty evenly, then you're not going to have to shrink it. If you like tack the top and then bring it down and then go down from there and squeegee down from there, you're going to get fingers at the bottom. So don't do that. And if you do, just go ahead and that's why I really love these triages too, because before I used to take a black hard card and wrap Teflon tape around it, but these triages are infused with Teflon, which is really awesome. Hence why they almost never scratch film on the inside when installing. So if you do have to shrink, let's say you install a piece of film like on a Silverado with a tiny little finger, as long as you printed the film or cut the film in the right direction, you can just apply some heat and use like a tri-edge card. It's not going to damage it, and you'll be able to go ahead and lay down that film, essentially shrinking it in on the inside, very last minute. But just be careful, because obviously you don't want to damage the film because it's already in. You're almost done. So just be careful with that. Good question. Okay, let's see. JY is asked, does cold weather versus warm weather, does it affect the shrinking of film essentially? Yes and no. And I mean, obviously the ambient temperature around, but even you're going to need more in cold weathers. If your shop's cold or you're working outside, that's a problem. You know, I mean, if it's 30 or 40 degrees inside, that's a problem. Yeah, it's going to take longer and more heat because everything else is cold. The car's cold. If the car's been outside in 30-degree weather and it comes inside and you're trying to shrink it, the glass is cold, but then you're putting heat on it, so it's working against each other. So in a nutshell, if you're working inside, as long as the temperature between 60 and 70 and 80, 90 degrees, whatever you want, it shouldn't affect it too much. As long as the car is is the same room temperature as a room, then you should be fine. Should be fine. Shouldn't affect it too much. I would say even worse, it would be more affected if it's cold. If it's too cold, you're gonna have to wait for it to warm up. But if it's hot, I don't think it's going to affect it too much, because it would have to be really hot to like start melting the film, like hot enough to kill you, essentially. So just to let y'all know, if you guys aren't aware, Super Chat is available. If you don't know what Super Chat is, it's a way to donate essentially to the channel. Just an option if you guys have never done that. It helps support the channel. So I'm just going to throw that bone out there too. Let's go ahead. Horrible connection. Sorry, I do have actually the very best internet. I have like 150 megabytes per second upload and download. Like normal internet speed is like 15. If it's good, it's like 15 megabytes per second upload. I have like 150, and I'm hardwired in. So it might be your connection. I very really doubt it's my connection. So, but sorry if it is. Rick McIntyre had a good point here. Pretty sure Helios Supernova fits all the requirements in regards to ceramic films. So go ahead and check those out. Go ahead and check that out. 17 VW Golf front quarter windows and sides. The sides are real tight on the bottom. If I hand cut them, or I shrink them. I just make sure I use the same method I do when I hand cut. When I cut the window out, I cut the sides, I cut one side, cut the bottom, shift it, cut the other side, shift it back. So now I have an eighth of an inch on both sides. But the very bottom, I leave inline on top. I don't. Some people will take it and pull it down and then cut the top. I think that's crazy because it takes a lot. You have to tuck more. As long as it's past the bottom one and there's bottom weather strip and there's no light gap, I'm fine with it. I don't care if it's an eighth of an inch or an inch and a half. It doesn't matter because you can't see it anyway. So might as well make it easy for myself. So try that. So try cutting the film. If you're using hand cutting, put the film right on the very top of the outside weather strip and then tack it down. Lift up the bottom of the film as you're rolling the window down, cut it. So now it would be even, right? The top would be even with the bottom here. But when you put an eighth of an inch gap, it's going to shift that film that was right on top of the weather strip. It's going to shift it an eighth of an inch down. That's my tip for really, really tight installs. For the front quarter windows on VW Bugs, I don't tint them. So some people take the A-pillars apart. Some people pull the window out completely. I don't, just because I don't. I feel like it's too much work and too much of a hassle over that. Some people put blackout vinyl on the outsides, and that helps as well. Some people just don't do them like me. So it really just depends on what you're willing to do. I think it's too much risk and too much time to pop apart and tear apart the entire car for quarter windows. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out some more questions here. Audio. You all can't hear me. Y'all can hear me? You can't hear me. Well, hopefully you guys can. Now? Can you hear me now? Do I sound like... Thanks, Jay Wise. Appreciate it. You can hear me. Okay. Ghetto Black says he can hear me. He or she. Crackle. Sorry, guys. If you guys hear some crackle, I don't know why. Ugh. It's just staticky. And he... Thanks. Okay. So I do apologize. Normally it isn't like this. Normally I run through some other software, so it organizes a little bit better. But like I said, guys, this is like kind of like a last minute thing, just because my software wouldn't go through the normal processes here. Oh, Tint Stuff with the $5 super chat. Oh, yeah. Yes, you are the first for the super chat. I definitely appreciate it. That is awesome. I've never seen that before. Oh, well, I appreciate it over at Tin Stuff. For those of you who are not aware of Tin Stuff is another channel, YouTube channel that that does all kinds of videos and stuff. Matt over there has got a bunch of subscribers. He's almost about to break 30,000 subscribers. Go ahead and check him out. $5 for a new mic. JY, is this mic right here? Just this mic right here is a $300 setup. Add this arm, it's $400. So it's definitely not the mic, unfortunately. Maybe it's my computer, maybe it's the software. I don't know. It's definitely not the mic though. So I was going to close it out, but now that we have that super chat up there, appreciate it over at Tint Stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave it up and keep the chat going at least until that goes down. Let me see. Newest generation Forerunner rear tips on a Forerunner. I like to dismantle the entire Forerunner. It's easier if you have a plotter, obviously, but if you're hand cutting, what I would suggest is you want to treat it just like a side window. It's a big side window, but you want to treat it as such. And what you want to do is you also want to get an extra hand, because the button to control the window is all the way at the front of the car and the window is all the way at the back. You got to be able to lift it. So get a hand if you're hand cutting it. And also you can take apart and pop off the panels. Makes it a lot easier to install, and you could just bottom load it. So yeah, that is that one. Do I prefer a rear window tint or a regular wall? I'm a little confused on that one. More tech, more problems. Live is difficult to manage. Could be a number of things that could cause a hiccup. Thanks. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Tint Stuffs, quit showing off in front of us poor people. Oh, whoa. Jared with the $4.99 super chat. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you very much. Very awesome. Very generous. I think you guys can also like comment on it, but thanks for saying thanks. I appreciate it. What vehicles give me the most problems? I'll be honest with you, the most problems I get is 07, 08 GTIs, the VW, the VW GTIs. Very, very hard back window. Makes me almost want to quit, but I don't. Daniel Bridges, you can send, I think you can send up to $500. Don't do that. That'd be insane. But yeah, you could send $100. That'd be crazy, but I appreciate the $4.99. I appreciate the $5. You never quit. Ghetto Black. I appreciate it. Do they sell rear window tint where you are? Send a rear window tint. What do you mean? Like, do we tint the back windows? Yeah, I think that's what you're asking. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, we do tint the back windows. I think if that's what you're asking. But y'all crazy. I like you guys. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can like almost like gamers live stream like their entire gaming session. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can just live stream like my day-to-day, like in the shop, how to shrink, how to like when I'm working on a car, so you guys can see it. I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, short of me hiring someone to follow me with a camera, I don't know if a GoPro would look good or not. But that'd be cool, I think. That way you guys can learn, because you guys learn a lot more. I mean, us talking, sitting here, this is kind of fun and this is awesome. But being able to actually see me live working on a car and seeing how I do things, it's a total game changer. So I'd love to figure that out. Dan Bridges, do you think the tint industry will go down in about 20 years? It's an ever evolving, and it's like anything else. It's like, yeah, do I think eventually window tinting will go away? Yeah, absolutely. It's the same thing that happened when cars went away. Like not cars went away, when everyone was riding the horses, and then a car came along. Everyone stopped using horses, right? So, but I really wouldn't worry about that. You want to work on diversification as well. So don't just do window tint, because when it's dry on window tint, what are you going to do? Like get into PPF, get into wraps, get into headlight restoration, get into small decals, get into anything automotive accessory wise that you can do, spray in bed liners, hydro dipping thing. I mean, there's a number of different things you can do just besides tinting. There's not just tinting in the world. So you can break off into other automotive accessories, services, still within the automotive aftermarket industry, that's not tint, just in case that goes away. Will it go away eventually? Probably, maybe. I might not be even be tinting in 20 years. I might be, I don't know. I'm still young. I'll probably be 20. I'll probably be tinting. But if not tinting and that goes away, I don't know. There's always other things. With the invention of new things, like when the cars were invented, I don't think they had mechanics. They had people that would like put horseshoes on horses, which is cool. But like now you have mechanics, that working on cars. So with new innovation always comes new jobs. It may outsource old jobs, but new jobs always take its place. So don't be afraid of it. Just be ready for the future. Oh, like Gary Vee says, always be looking at the horizon. Never stay still and staying where you're at, because if you're staying still, you're just staying, you're stagnant, and you're gonna get going down eventually. Lot GoPro. Do you think the Tinder Gilla has ruined? Oh, Ghetto Black says Gilla has rear window tint that come in like strips. Yeah, don't do that. No, we haven't. No one does strips or splices since the 80s, early 90s. If you're a reliable and reputable tint shop, you shrink it in one piece. And if you can't do that, you message me and I will walk you through it, my friend. We'll get through it. We'll get through it together. Jared, Suntech Carbon versus EWF Classic Black. Let me see here. Like I said, it's kind of hard, especially Suntech Carbon and Suntech in EWF Classic Black, Express Window Films Classic Black. I never used either one. I know I have some actually Express Window Films Classic Black. I've never actually used it yet because I haven't had good time to do it. If I were to say off shooting from the hip, Express Window Films, because I know Express Window Films uses another kind of film to help manufacture their film, and I just kind of don't want to say because you're not supposed to, but you can do some research. I like the film that they get their film from. So mount a GoPro to your head. Yes. Do you tuck your tint or cut it at the strip? Uh, tuck my tint. I tuck my tint. Yes. Oh, Daniel Bridges, what kind of books do you read? Self-development. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Self-development books. Listen, I'm not a huge book reader. I'm not a big reader at all. I'm very slow. That's why when you guys see me reading the messages or like the chats, the live chats, I'm like super slow about it. Just because reading comprehension is not really my thing. It's not really good. It's never been good for me. The two book series I've ever read is one chapter of Harry Potter, just because I love Harry Potter, and then believe it or not, the Twilight series books. I read the first one because I heard 50% of everyone I knew said it was horrible, and 50% of the people said it was phenomenal. It was an easy read, so I went ahead and just read the book to get my own opinion, and I actually liked it, so I read the rest of the books. J Wise, spend wisely. Oh, you could have bought a 10-piece, $2.69 on the super chat. Jay Wise, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much. Yes. Could have bought a 10-piece with this. That's right, baby. I'll buy a 10-piece now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Self-development is very big for me. Yes. So like I was saying, books for reading for entertainment purposes, I really don't do it very often just because I'd rather watch videos or watch a movie. I'm a huge movie buff. But the books that I do like to read and do enjoy to read are like self-development books, personal finance, books that are supposed to be boring, like I find super interesting, like personal finance and like personal finance for dummies. Like the For Dummies series is phenomenal. Especially for someone like me who can't read very well, but can ingest books like that. It's just awesome. I think it's awesome. So, oh yeah. Jake Graham says he saw the new Civic Hatch done in 3. Yeah, don't do that. I'll put it up. There is a video on YouTube. Type in how to take apart like a Civic, the new Civic or 2017, 2018 Civic hatchback. It's worth it to learn how to take it apart. Just charge accordingly. Charge for an hour's worth of more work on that one. Still blown away about the super chats. I never got super chats, and all of a sudden I get 3 super chats. So that's awesome. Thanks, guys. Jeff asks, why does it seem that there is so much animosity between top loaders and bottom loaders? That is a good question. Why is there so much animosity? Because tinters there's two types of tinters in the world. There's the best tinter in the world and everyone else. That's the mentality of a tinter. It was a funny joke that someone said. I heard someone say that they always told people that they're the number two tinter in the industry. And then everyone would always ask, "Oh, if you're number two, who's number one?" And he would reply with, "Everyone else," because everyone thinks they're the best. So why is there so much animosity? Is because people, I don't know. I don't know why. It's silly. Why? What does it matter? Like, it's your opinion. It's your thing. Some people like to top load. Some people like to bottom load. Some people like to tuck. Some people like to pull panels. I can do it all. Why? Just because I like to have a plethora of options for me. I love to pull panels, but I won't pull panels on a car that's 10 or 15 years old because I know the plastic's too old that they could literally disintegrate on me and I can't put the door back on. So it's all situational, whichever is best and fastest. I can bottom load a window majority of the time faster than I can top load. If I can't pull the seals, then I have to top load. It is what it is. So I think tenders get in their own way, and I think that's one issue with the industry is that everyone thinks that their way is the best way and the only way. Plus, they won't teach people. This is one of the reasons why I started this YouTube channel and started all these videos and this whole thing with me is because no one showed me. I had to literally pull teeth and lie to people for them to teach me how to do stuff. My first shop, I told them knew how to tint. I tinted for like 2 months, maybe not even 2 months. I got a bunch of tools. I watched tint stuff. That's the first I learned through tint stuff. I bought tools. I bought film. I tinted all my cars, all my friends' cars, and then I went to a shop and I said I've been tinting for a year. So I was just like, it better look good. So, but why did I do that? Because no one else was willing to teach. Matt was the only guy out there that was like actually showing people. Matt from Tint Stuff was the only guy out there showing people how to tint. So, but if you don't teach people how to do it, how's the new generation going to come in? That you're just going to kill the industry. I mean, and there's a desperate need for tenders, crazy need for tenders. My boy Matt over at Tint Stuff, he just finished up a training class. I get calls regularly for training classes. If you guys want training, feel free to touch base with me or Matt on that. But they're in desperate need of tinters. So if you're new to the industry and you want to make $50,000 to $75,000 a year working for someone, you can do it. Guarantee you can do it. Watch my videos, watch Matt's videos, guarantee. Did a 97, oh, Benz Nightmare Plastic. Yeah, I typically don't work with cars. Because it's a newer high-end shop. Not high-end. I don't work with Lamborghinis, but and Maseratis. I mean, I did a Maserati recently, actually. But I don't do like Lambos or Ferraris or Lotuses or really, really, really expensive cars. From time to time I do, but mainly higher end like BMWs, Lexus, Mercedes, Land Rovers, things of that nature. So when you have that type of clientele, you don't typically get cars that are 10 to 15 years old. I personally don't like working on cars that old. And personally, when I do my own side bid stuff on my side work, if a car is 10 years old, I'll tack on 50% more. I think before I was doing, if it's more than 10 years old, 50% more, and more than 15 years old, I double the price because I don't want to work with them. You got 15, 20 years worth of junk and crap in those seals and in the windows. It's a nightmare. So if you're new to the industry, work on newer cars, not older cars, and that'll definitely help for you. You learn, Jared said, I learned from Tint Stuff before he vanished. Yeah, I did too. But if you guys don't know, Matt is back. He took a leave of absence. I don't know what he was doing with his life. I'm still trying to get that one-on-one interview. I don't even think he wants. I think he just, I don't know. So he's back now, and he's doing some great, phenomenal work. He looks a little bit older. He looks older than he did 5 years ago. That's what everyone says. But he is back now. So go ahead and check him out. Tint Stuff. You're gonna learn some stuff, and it's phenomenal stuff. So me and him together, we're gonna take over this industry. I promise you that. Just wait. If y'all gonna be here in 10 years, you're gonna see me and Matt at the top. I promise you. How do I charge? I charge typically whatever my film cost is. I make my film cost at a 15%. Yeah, 10 to 15%. And as long as those numbers fall in line with my current local market, then we're good to go. I think I had I should do a video on that. So whatever your film is, let's say your film is 50 cents a square foot, and you want to have yeah, and you want to have well, let's see if we can do it on my phone. My phone's correct. I probably need a new phone too. I have a new phone. I just haven't had the time to switch it. So let's see. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. So as if you're doing 50 cents a square foot, and it's kind of reverse, so kind of just follow me. If you're doing 50 cents a square foot and you want to have your film cost at 15%, then you just multiply it by 0.15. Oh, never mind. 0.50. So your square footage is 50 cents a square foot, and you want to have a 15% film cost. So you divide it by 0.15. So divide, not multiply, but divide. And that's it. $3.33 a square foot. So you should be charging $3.33 a square foot. And you'll get an 85% profit margin, or at least a 15% film cost. Hopefully you fell in line with that. If you didn't, I can go more into it later. So how much do you charge? It really just depends. We use Lumar series, an ATC is good. We run it for 150, ATR 180, CTX 270, Pinnacle 370, and Stratos 500. And that's for a four-door car. Goes lower if it's a two-door car. It goes higher if it's a SUV or a full SUV. But those are our price ranges. And they only release those because those are public knowledge anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Looks like we've been on for almost an hour. Doing good. We got about 18 people on here. What's going on, guys? Welcome. Hopefully, I do apologize if I guess the audio is not sounding very good. I do apologize. This is not our normal setup. I'm uploading natively from Facebook. So make sure to tune in here next week at let me hopefully the mic is still the same. Yeah. Make sure to tune in next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. It'll be a little bit better. Hopefully, unfortunately, like I said, there was some sort of incident over at the YouTube headquarters. So I'm assuming that's what's going on and why we have to upload natively here. So see some questions. How much Stratos do you sell? Not a lot, but when we do, we make butter. It's not about it's about sales. You have to be a good salesman, and you got to understand. Stratus is the very, very, very top. You cannot sell someone that's not willing to buy. No matter. So don't waste your time and don't talk to them. Don't waste your time on people that are not going to buy. Same thing. It's same thing in the sheer opposite. Some people that have really nice cars. If you spend $80,000 on a brand new car and he's got a $1,000 Movado watch or a $2,500 Rolex, and he dresses very nice and talks professionally and has that vibe. That type of person is going to come in and say, "I want the very top. I want the most expensive." And he's not even going to question it. He's just going to say yes because that's what he's used to. That's what he does. He goes in and he buys the best. Not probably because he likes the best, probably because he wants to afford the best, but also probably because he likes the reaction he gets from people when he says, "Yeah, I'll take that," without even blinking. When others would be like, "Oh, I'm not going to spend $500 on tint, you nuts." But that happens. Tinso said that for Lumar, yes, prices are better up north, but you got to deal with snow. Actually, believe it or not, we are not the most expensive tint shop. We have another shop right up the street, way more expensive. So I don't know if it's a tactic because we have a shop literally 2 blocks away from us. They sell 3M, we sell Lumar. So I don't know if it's a tactic to bring in more people from there that think that their shop is too high. Also, our shop, I'm the only tinner there. I have another tinner that comes here on the weekends to pick up some more of the busy times and help me out on the busy times. But our shop is primarily a flat glass. 85% of our business is flat glass. And the rest of it, like the 10 to 15%, is auto. So there's not a lot of focus on it, but it's enough to pay my salary and keep the lights on and bills paid. So, and it's profitable. So they just leave it at that. You could probably make more, but it's not their primary focus. You tell them Ghetto Black. I usually tell them to bring the tint and charge $100. That's not bad. The only bad thing is that they bring in crap film that you don't know. It could shrink, it could bind, it could crease, it could heat crease, it could be a horrible film that doesn't shrink. It's a real gamble. People would ask me, well, if I bring my own film, how much would you charge? I tell them no, I wouldn't do it. But everyone's different. Everyone's situational. I don't need the gig. Some people are hurting and they need money. They don't care what it is. They're just going to do it. So you got to do what you got to do. If you're making money, you're paying the bills and you're happy and you're charging $100 per car, go for it, brother. Go for it. How much you charge to remove tint? No, we charge, I think, $140 to remove a full four-door vehicle. I think typically it's $20 per window, $50 for the back window. But personally, I hate to remove tint, so me personally, I'll charge triple just so they say no. Real food, real good. If you're new, how much is good getting paid per hour full time at a shop if no salary? If you're new, you're lucky to you'll probably get $10 an hour, and you should be lucky to get that. Because you're not going to be very popular. You got to understand, as a business owner, the point of employees is an investment. You invest as an owner, you invest in an employee, and that employee flourishes sales, growth, in a business. So if I'm going to pay an employee 50,000 a year, that employee needs to be able to yield me at least triple. I would say at least triple to quadruple, 3 to 4 times. So that employee needs to be able to produce at least 150 to $200,000 for me, so that way I work in rules of thirds. There's got to be enough to pay the salary for the tinter. You got to pay the owner, and then you got to pay the business. So at least 3 times the worth. So probably not much just getting started. But once you start learning more, but that's a learning process. If you can survive off of that little bit of income, but learning. Once you get established and you can tint a full car, there's no reason why you can't make $50,000 to $75,000. That's serious numbers. That's real numbers. I've never got paid less than $60,000 for any shop that I've worked at. Even not the first one. The first one I lied. But but from shop number 2 and on, I've never been less than 60,000 ever. So yeah, if you're a tinter, and you're a good tinter, you should be able to tint at least 4 cars a day, 4 to 5 cars a day, and that leads a lot of money. I mean, let's do the quick math on it here. And I know this is going to be reversed here, but let's just say on average it's $150 a car. You do 4 cars a day, not 5. Let's just say 4. Let's under estimate, right? $4, 4 cars a day, and you work 6 days a week. You're gonna work 6 days a week. Welcome to tending. If you don't want to work 6 days a week, you better leave the industry. And you're gonna work, let's say, 50 weeks a year. You take 2 weeks off on vacation. You're worth $180,000. $180,000. So if I go by the rules of thirds at 30, let's say 30%, 0.3%, that's $54,000. That's just at $150 a car. If you're selling cars at $400 a car or $300 a car, now you're making, what is that? $360,000. That's a lot of money. There's a lot of money in the industry. So, and good tenders are worth their weight in gold and then some. Yeah, Jay Bird, don't buy window film from AutoZone, please. Please, no respectable window tinter buys film from AutoZone or eBay or Walmart. You have to go through a manufacturer. You just have to do it. Trust me. Believe in me. Ray says I started $190 for removal. That's solid. Yeah. Yeah. I've even thought about doing like an hourly rate, like $75 an hour with like a 4 or 5 hour cap. But charging an hourly rate is kind of difficult because people are like, oh, how do I know you've worked 4 hours on the vehicle? You know how people are. So that's kind of a pain in the butt. You hate to Ghetto Black. I hate to tint, but love the money. Okay, then Ghetto Black. And that's his name, y'all. I'm not like just like being some racist crazy person on a camera here. That's his name. Ghetto Black is his Facebook name. So if you hate the tint but love the money, then take that passion and find something else. There's a million other things in the world. I just happen to love tint and I like electronics and different things. That's why I'm doing good at what I'm doing. You got to find passion first. You got to have to love what you're doing. You have to love what you're doing and be able to make money off of what you're doing. I might love, I don't know, folding this piece of cardboard in quarters all day, every day. That might be my passion. I might love it, but doing this is not going to pay the bills. No way, no how. There's not a way to do it. So you got to find what you love, and there's a million ways I mean, look at there's e-commerce stuff. I mean, we're living in a phenomenal age where technology and ability is just so. I mean, the world is your oyster. So if you hate tint but you love the money, forget about the money. Money means nothing. Money is irrelevant. Find happiness in yourself, in fulfillment in your life. You only get one. That's it. One. Gary Vaynerchuk said the probability of being a human being is 400 trillion to one. So that the fact that you're even a human and you're alive right now is an unbelievable feat. So don't whine, don't complain that you're situational stuff. Maybe you were born into a bad society, maybe you were born into a bad family, maybe you didn't have a good hand at life. Whatever. It is what it is. There's great people that have come up from crap and junk, and vice versa. There's horrible people that have come down from high society as well. So sorry, I'm really passionate about something like that. Just do what you love, find what you enjoy. The money will come. Trust me. Hello, Brazil. What is going on? Ghetto Black, you can find it, my friend. I promise you. Good. If you're happy, that's it, brother. That's it. Then it don't matter. Then it don't matter. Just drinking some of that good sweet tea. You're just taking notes. I appreciate it, brother. I'm not the one to take notes from. You want to have some fun? Go check out Gary Vanderchuck. His channel is phenomenal. Also, yeah, he's awesome. Another guys too. Country time. Yeah, this is my homemade brew. What is it? Louisiana. 6 bags, family bag. 6 bags, cup and a half of sugar. Top it off with water at the very end. So good. All right, guys. It looks like we're just topping out at 1 hour, 2 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and chop it off at this time. I really do appreciate y'all that stuck around. Looks like we got about 16 people here right now. Again, for those of you guys who did support the channel using the super chat, I definitely appreciate it. Thank you all for there. And let's see here. And then let me see. I'll get a couple of things. No, I don't tint drunk. Go ahead and call it off for this evening. Thanks again for joining us. Hopefully servers and stuff will be a little bit better next week. We'll be able to go ahead and use the live